for today's video, I'm very excited to share with you guys my first vintage luxury purchase. Hello shopaholic enthusiasts, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified every time I post new vlogs, videos, and reviews of luxury items, gadgets, and everything else we want to buy from the market. So as you've seen in the title of the video, I'll be sharing with you my first vintage luxury purchase, and there's a hefty amount of information I am to give you for today. Now this bag came into picture because I was in search of a normal travel duffel bag, but I will be using it in the office. And at that time, the in-between sizes weren't available. For the men's line, there is just the keyhole, which is the same silhouette as the bag I will be showing you later on. The sizes that are available for the keyhole is 45, 50, 55, and 60. So at that time, I thought it was too big for me to carry every day to the office, so I was searching for a smaller bag. I was aware that there is a Speedy. Now the Speedy is actually a bag for the women, and the sizes go from 25, 30, and the largest 35. And at that time, size 35 was too feminine for the size, because it is a little bit cumbersome for me to fit in my gadgets, my MacBook, my tablet, and other things that I need to carry for the office. So I was in search for the middle size. So Keepall 45 is already out of my choices. So I wanted to search something in the Speedy line. I didn't want a classic monogram because, you know, everyone else has this classic monogram for the print of their luxury bags. So I was in search for a different type of material in the bag. And then I just Googled Speedy 40, and lo and behold, there is a middle size. So my next step was to find a pattern or a silhouette that can be used as a men's duffel bag. Now, I just Googled at that time, if my memory serves me right, I Googled black Speedy 40. And then there at the top of the search in Google is this specific overseas site wherein they're selling preloved items, vintage items, and then I saw this bag. And I was intrigued because of the design. It was very iconic based on my readings because of its rich history. Now, in terms of structure, Keepall for the men's line always has this cowhide leather trim, two cowhide leather trims at the middle. I think because the designer already knew that if it is being used by a guy, it would fit a lot of heavier items than what women could actually carry. So there should be a support at the middle, directly connected to the D-ring, supporting the handle. Now, with regard to the Speedy, they don't have those two leather trims at the middle. The handle is just cut after the D-ring. They also came with a bandolier. Bandolier is the bag type wherein there is a shoulder strap that can be detached. and then the normal Speedy. Now, one surprising detail for Speedy that is not commonly found in keepalls is the side pockets. I think it is the designer's choice because they knew that women would always have something to just put outside, and the men just carry their bags zipped and locked. Now let's go to the rich history. This is just a brief one based on my readings, and this is all of the data I will be sharing with you is from the website of LV, and you can always search the site and read on it. The design of Epi Leather. Epi is a French word meaning ear of wheat. The design was actually created by two very popular men in the luxury house, in the person of Georges Vuitton and his son Gaston. Now, they were inspired by the wheat fields when the sunshine hit the fields. That is the reason why there is always this pattern design, the lines, it's supposed to resemble the wheat fields. That is why it's actually called Epi Leather. And this came into fruition year 1920s. It was created because of the demand from the public to have more choices other than the coated canvas, which the luxury house is actually known for. If you're to count from 1920 until this year, 2024, this is already a 104-year-old classic design of the Maison Louis Vuitton. Now, there is a resurgence in 1980. This is because of Jacques Costet. Sorry if I'm butchering the name. The designer thought of marrying this signature design of LV from the 1920 because of Georges and Gaston, and joining this iconic piece of the luxury house from 1930s. And this happens to be the Speedy. It was a little popular at that time because the bag has a very light carriage to it, so you can actually put a lot of things inside, and it's a breath of fresh air because the guys then were actually, you know, used to carrying big boxes or trunks when they travel through train or ships. Now, this is a breath of fresh air. This is a novel idea at that time. So Jacques Costet in the 1980s thought of marrying the idea of this Speedy with another signature leather design from the luxury house, and that happens to be Epi Leather. This is the birth of the Speedy in Epi Leather in 1985. If you're to ask me, based on fashion folklore, if Hermes Kelly was actually from Grace Kelly, and then the famous Birkin, one of the most expensive bags, the Birkin of Hermes is from Jane Birkin, and the famous bag, Lady Dior, was made famous by Princess Diana. This iconic piece from LV, the Speedy, was made famous by Audrey Hepburn. But at that time, you know, she was wanting to, she asked the luxury house if they could actually make a smaller variant. Hence the birth of the Speedy 25. This last bulk of information I'm going to share to you is the construction. Now, with regard to the construction, you will be amazed with how the luxury house made this type of leather. Now, first things first, they will search high quality cowhide leather, and then this leather, the cowhide leather, would undergo a coating process to remove the impurities and the imperfections. Now the second process is the application of the polyurethane coating and other pigments. This is the reason why this Epi line produces a lot of pigments, a lot of colors, like for example yellow, violet, green, red, blue, and I think black, white, black, and pearl. Now this polyurethane coating is a thermoplastic layer that makes the bag very flexible for it to withstand the embossing of the design, and this is the reason why this design is actually possible. Then after that, it is actually left to dry for days, and then finally they would add another protective layer that makes the bag resistant to water and stains. As compared to the famous vachetta leather of LV, it's very difficult to maintain because it's very susceptible to stains, even the wet hands, you know. Now this is the difference of Epi Leather, and this is the reason why I like this type of leather. Now one question which really puzzles me: why is the resale value of this bag tend to be very low as compared to other coated canvases, other leather bags? If I'm not mistaken, the Empreinte leather maintains its value even after years or even decades from production. But if you're to ask me, I would value more this Epi leather because of its rich history and creation, because of its very meticulous manufacturing process, and the durability over time. Now let's go to the bag. I kid you not, I consider this piece as one of the most important items in my collection. And this is the bag. Now as you can see, I already wrapped a twilly. This is not branded, this is just a normal, a regular cheap one I bought from Mrs. Leather. I decided to wrap a twilly around the handle because the handle isn't designed as durable as the Epi Leather. This is the normal cowhide leather trim. I'm just happy that LV didn't create this as a box leather. I thought at that time this was box leather, but I was corrected. This is just cowhide leather, but it's very shiny. Now, with regard to the Epi leather of all the Speedy line in different sizes, they only come in one type of hardware, which happens to be a brass. This is not just gold, this is brass. So as compared to the hardware we're used to finding in Louis Vuitton nowadays, this is brass. Now as you already know, brass is already a combination of different types of metal. It's not just plated. Now this is brass. Now it is actually very noticeable because of the old gold color. Now this is brass, this is brass, this is brass. Now the moment I saw this online, I was mesmerized because of the quality. Now let me just remove the pillow I placed inside just to maintain its shape. Although of course, this is a sturdy bag as compared to the coated canvases. That's why it maintains its shape, whether without the stuffing inside. The moment I saw this bag, I already asked online, when was it made? Now the date code can always be found behind this pocket. With regard to the Speedy in Epi Leather, it is unlined. And that is something I really appreciate because you know that this is really real leather. Very high quality if you were to ask me. Now if you flip the pocket, you will see the date code here. I'll show it on the screen. It's SP1919. That means it's manufactured in the 11th week of year 1999. So this is considered to be part of the vintage line because this is already discontinued. You will never find a new Speedy bag. If you will see someone carrying a Speedy bag in Epi Leather, you would know that that is already a vintage item. And for those people like myself, that is part of their most prized possessions. That is already a gem. This is the pocket I mentioned a while ago. This is the side pocket when you can actually put your phone or a pack of candy or your car keys or your coin purse. And this is the thing I also mentioned a while ago. This is a non-bandolier type of Speedy. Now the bandolier would always have a leather trim, cowhide leather trim here with the D-ring here, and you're supposed to attach the shoulder strap for it to be a crossbody or a shoulder bag. Now this only has a hole here for you to place your lock. Now with this purchase, it didn't come with padlock, but I just bought online a new padlock for this one. I'm just not using it. So that is the reason why the tag, the zipper pull has the same hole as you can see here for you to place your lock here. And as you can see, it's unlined. Even in the pull tag, the leather is unlined. But you will see here that there are several layers that makes this bag, this leather type of bag, very, very durable. And as you can see, it's scratch resistant. Minor scratching, of course, but you can already see some scratch marks, which I think is adding character to the bag, to its history. And there is, on the other side, if this is the part wherein you lock your bag, on the other side there's a pull tag here for you to easily zip close your bag, and it says here Louis Vuitton in Paris, made in France. All right, now the inside, as I mentioned a while ago, is unlined. That is the reason why I placed a base shaper which I bought online as well, just to maintain the shape of the bag here. As you can see, it's well maintained. And I bought an added organizer to maintain the shape of the sides, because as you carry heavy items, this tends to droop, hence the weight is actually pulling down vertically here, and it tends to flatten. Now with regard to having an organizer inside, this is from the brand, of course not sponsored, Original Club. You can always look it up online. Again, it is from Original Club. They would ask for the exact measurements. Now 40 means the measurement from this side, this point of the bag, to the other point of the bag. Now at this side, with regard to Epi designs, Epi Leather designs, there's no other loud monogram or LV print other than this part. Now you would know that that is actually authentic because of the embossing of LV here, and then the other side there's also an embossing of LV here. All right, now this is the leather trim. Now, if it were a bandolier, this cowhide leather trim would go up until this part. Then there would be a D-ring for you to attach your shoulder strap. Now let us put this back. There, as you can see, it is very structured. Now to some people, this is called a doctor's bag. Let us compare with the previous silhouette I showed you in one of my video reviews. It's actually a luxury haul, my first luxury haul, wherein I was able to purchase for myself a Keepall XS, and that is the smallest in the men's line. This is the Keepall XS. Now you can see the difference between the two sizes. This could actually be the key charm of this one. Now I added a key charm here. This is the Prism ID holder, and these are the sizes. Now I have here a measuring tape to justify the size, and it's actually 40 centimeters from this point to this point. Now that is the measurement I mentioned to Original Club. That's why they sent me a very snug good fitting organizer for my Speedy 40. And this is the Keepall XS. Now the difference in the size in terms of centimeters, this is only 22. This is almost half, well, more than half. This is 22 centimeters from this point to this point. And of course, as you know me, I also have here inside a bag shaper. And as compared to this one, which is actually unlined, this has textile lining. Alright? Now I already have two Epi Leather items in my collection, and this is it. Now I saw this bag. Of course, this is in the women's line again, but I thought I could actually use it as a men's bag. You know, nowadays there is so much androgyny in terms of luxury bags and items we use. Before, there was a fine line between the bags used by the men and the bags used by women. Nowadays, even the men's line produces small bags, the micro ones, the nano. I'm to show you in the screen. There's the Christopher Nano, the Nano Steamer, and the Nano Briefcase from Virgil Abloh. Now, these types of designers were smart enough to, you know, share between the genders the joy of using bags. But of course, there are still bags that are specifically made for the women and specifically made for the men. But most of the time, you know, women can always use the bags of the guys. But to some extent, it's actually unfair, because when guys use the bags of women, there's still certain gender bias. But there's none if women are actually using men's bag. Like for example, this one, I knew a lot of friends and colleagues who are, you know, rocking this bag, this Keepall XS, because it's actually small. But this is created for the men's line. And that is it for the Speedy 40 in Epi Leather. This is my Speedy 40 and my Keepall XS. Now I will be sharing with you guys for the next videos my Keepall 45 and my journey to finding the infamous Virgil Abloh runway piece, the Keepwell 50. So that will be all. If I mentioned something that interests you, please give this video a thumbs up. It is a very, very big help to my channel. That is all. Always take care. Bye.